Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Sekani, a podcast for people in their 20s who are trying to figure out life and not get lost along the way. My guest today is a flight planning engineer supporting NASA's International Space Station and Moon to Mars program. Irene Chan brings over 20 years of experience in aerospace engineering, space operation, and mission coordination, working with both domestic and international partners to ensure safe and effective space mission. Raised by a single mother in the East Los Angeles as a first generation American, Irene did not follow a traditional path into aerospace, but her journey is a powerful story of resilience, curiosity, and love for flight. Irene, it's a pleasure to have you here. Welcome to Conversations with Sekani.
Sekani, it is a joy to be here with you, sharing the stories. And like you, I just had the curiosity to learn about other stories. So I hope to hear your story in our conversation too.
Okay, wow, thank you for that actually. And yeah, while I was, just reading your accolades, right? I was like, wow, engineering, NASA, these whole huge words. I'm like, wow, I'm inspired by you actually. I don't know how to say
Thank
it,
you.
but yeah, I am deeply inspired. And those fields are not often women dominated field, right? They are male dominated. So it's really good when I see a woman in that field. It just gives me so much joy, right? So yeah, you said love inspired you to become an engineer. So what do you mean by that actually?
I love that question because you never equate engineer plus love. Oh my gosh, it's nothing but love. It
Wow.
also depends on the personality. You could tell I'm an extrovert. I outwardly show my love. I could not have made it in this career without the love of course, you can imagine the family
Yeah.
and other women that came before me because I would have been nothing without those that have paved the way. Even one of your guests, I forgot her name, Shelley, she wrote a book. But I mean, just women like her to show me that there's a path forward. We may not have the same path in aerospace, but just
Yeah.
seeing that others can do it inspired me to do it. And you didn't mention in my bio, but I actually failed a lot of math and physics classes. So
Wow.
growing up, I was always the kid good at math. My math teacher would be like, would you consider doing some kind of math career? I'm like, oh, girls could do math? Cool. And mind you, this was in the 90s when STEM wasn't the buzzword. We don't know what science, technology, engineering, mathematics was. So he didn't say STEM career. You're just like, you're good at math. Consider career math. So that planted a little seed. And that was out of love. He didn't have to go out of his way to point out, okay, you're top cat of the class. And there was a lot of opportunities throughout my career where I heard the and. For example, I thought, okay, I could do math. But when I got to college, I was not prepared for the academic rigors. I
Hmm.
failed calculus not once, not twice, three times. And this was the girl
Hmm.
like, yeah, I could do math. I failed. And not only that, even before getting to college, the first time I took a physics class, I almost failed. And that almost held me back from getting my degree in high school degree. That people would have thought, oh, you would have given up by then because physics was not your jam. I'm like, I don't care about physics. I'm curious about where this math thing will take me. And it was time for me to declare my major for college. I'm like, I don't know. I admit I didn't even know what engineering was coming out of high school, but just that love from the community going, you've always talked about liking things in flight. You go visit your mom's older sister in Houston. At the time, I was living in Los Angeles a lot, like every summer, every winter. Either I was flying over to Houston or they were coming over to LA. There's a lot of flight going on. And of course, being in an immigrant family, flying overseas to China was big. It's just an adventure. So I was just fascinated about being in flight. And on top of that, I was born on Thanksgiving. Turkeys could actually fly. People say turkeys can't fly. No, they're liars. So flight, it just seemed to be written in the stars that I'd be dealing with something with flying. And whenever I was up there in the clouds just flying, I never thought about my circumstances. Like you had mentioned, I was raised by a single mom. She never made that situation so bleak where it's like, you can't do anything. she loved me enough to push me first. She's like, "You want to pursue engineering?" Nobody in the family considered an engineering career. If you go, go for it. I'm behind you every step of the way. My babysitter, who's ethnically Chinese but grew up in Central America, had no inkling about engineering, but she's like, I don't know what engineering is, but if that makes you happy, go for it. So you just see these beads of love building up this beautiful necklace surrounding me, going, you could do it. We're holding you up. You could do this. And even the community members, leaders in my community growing up, they were from humble backgrounds too. They didn't know what engineering was, but they're like, okay, if you feel a call to pursue this, we're behind you. And of course, when I got to college and I told you once, twice, three times a lady, I failed math, they're like, just dust yourself up. Get on up, Irene. You'll find your way. And I did find my way because I found other people to help me embrace my love for aerospace. At first, I'm like, oh, I'm an imposter. I don't believe that I'm even trying because I'm failing in the one subject that I thought I was really good at. But in reality, it led me to organizations. It led me to other friends. It led me to studying subjects where it really lit me up. It's like, okay, proving your academic worth is one thing, but what really lights you up? And that was aerospace because I was surrounded by people that equally loved the idea of what's the new technology in aerospace. A lot of them wanted to support NASA, a lot of them wanted to work for airplane endeavors, but I was like, I don't care. I just want to support things that fly, whatever it
Wow.
takes. So
Wow.
I found friends that had other studying techniques. They brought me into their folder and like, let's study together. All it takes is just that one person to love you enough to say, I see you're trying. You're not a failure. Let's try it out together. And those study groups, oh, they immensely help because I really wouldn't have passed without them the third time. And I had earlier mentioned about professional organizations. So I know people getting involved with professional organizations may not be their jam, but that really helped boosted my confidence and also reassured me this is where you belong. So the two I wanted to point out for generically any woman interested in the sciences, the technology, engineering, and mathematics, Society of Women Engineers, that's an international organization and it's not tied to any location. I mean, even men joined this organization because they believe so dearly with all their hearts, another show of love, that yes, women can make it in these fields that people thought, no, let's keep it to the men. No, everybody is loving enough to say, here are the resources to thrive in your career as an engineer. You may be starting out, but no, there are women before you that want to lift you up. So how could you not want to join an organization like that that makes you feel safe? Yes, you may stumble, but they're like, it's okay. Here are other options. For example, I first started my job with United Space Alliance. That organization is no longer around. But after 6 months, chopping block, they're like, we don't think this is a good fit. I had uprooted myself from Los Angeles, moved to Houston, and they're like, yeah, we don't think you're a good fit because I just could not do the rigors of that kind of a job. That first job was to become a trainer for the International Space Station communications system. I understood things technically, but I did not have the confidence in myself. I did not love myself enough to go, yes, I could do this. I can convey these technical topics to others, but I always second guess myself. So I could not prove to my management, Irene knows her stuff and she could effectively teach others. So that's why after 6 months, they're like, we're not a good fit. And it was the worst time too. This was 2008, 2009. I don't know if you remember that time. It was rough economically. That was when in the US, there was just a depression of sorts.
Okay.
Yeah, the money was just drying up everywhere. It's like, oh my gosh, I moved all the way from the comforts of my home. What am I going to do? People that were losing jobs in the aerospace industry were going en masse to oil and gas. But in my heart, I did not love oil and gas. That was, I know I could not thrive because it was not a loving environment for me. Yes, I could
Yeah.
do the technical stuff, but I did not feel that love. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay in aerospace. And the women in the Society of Women Engineers, they're like, I respect that. A lot of the members here in Houston do belong in the oil and gas industry, but they weren't trying their darnest to convert me into oil and gas. They say, we clearly see you love aerospace. We're here to support you. And in terms of support. It's not like they gave me money. It's not like, here's a job. They gave me the opportunity to be a leader in the organization. So while I was navigating how the heck am I going to get back into aerospace and actually pay the bills? So I was lucky enough that, again, here comes another love bug. In high school, my half brother lovingly gave me Photoshop and other web designing tools. So I had this love of drawing things on a computer. I actually paid my way through school being a web designer. So my foot back into aerospace was supporting the International Space Station as a web designer. So while I was
Okay.
doing the web design thing, I went back to school and got my second degree, also related to
Hmm.
aerospace. And this second time around, I didn't fail. I was really engaged with the subject. So that's what also boosted my confidence to know I love this industry. This is right for me because in a more advanced degree, I'm making it. I'm actually making higher grades. I'm more
Hmm.
engaged with the professors because during my bachelor degree, I was like, nope, I'm not going to office hours. I'm intimidated. But there was something about being in such a loving environment of others that just want to see you succeed, want you to equally love these topics. How could you not want to stay in this love blanket?
Wow. Okay. Wow, I'm intrigued by your story actually. And what I could say is your story is that of resilience and love, right? It's resilience
Absolutely.
and love. And what I want my listeners to take out of this, because it says here that you were on academic probation 3 times. Wow. And then normally, if that had happened to someone else, they would have just given up and be like, oh, it's not my calling. I'll just go find something else to do. But you kept on going, right? You still felt like you could do this and you were surrounded with so much love. So I want my listeners to, know that even if something isn't going the way they planned, right, or the way they want it to go, if they just, keep on doing what they do, right? If they keep on thriving and being consistent, they would make it. Your story tells us that actually. And yeah, wow.
Absolutely. It's always the people too. It's the people that kept me. The second professional organization I want to draw attention to your listeners, is the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. Don't let the first A fool you. It's not just American, it's also an international organization.
Wow.
So anyone that's even remotely interested in aerospace, it is open for you. And for high school students, you actually have free membership. You could connect with all aerospace technical folks. It doesn't even have to be an engineer. It could be a person in IT that supports aerospace. They're in this organization. Financial analysts. It takes a whole community to make aerospace work. So I also want to invite your audience to consider, I want to be a journalist. There's space for you. There is always
Wow.
space for anyone in aerospace. You just need to love it. That's the beauty of this industry is find your love for aerospace. We'll find a need for you. Like I told you earlier, would you ever imagine a web designer supporting aerospace? Not
Wow.
really. I
Not
mean,
really.
yeah, I talk to so many students. They're like, really? You have the artsy fartsy stuff going on, but you could do technical stuff? Oh my gosh, there's so many talented people surrounding me. It's not just the aerospacey stuff they do. They're also musicians. They express love in so many other ways too. That's why I call this
Wow.
a love journey because people that are in the aerospace industry, they just love it so much. They want to see people succeed in so many ways and see so many developments. Like you hear about NASA spin-offs, technology that they've developed to advance humans going to space. You use it on your bed, the Tempur-Pedic mattress, all of these food technologies to preserve it. It takes so many different disciplines to make it work. So
Okay.
yes,
Wow.
consider the organizations in the industry that you want. It doesn't have to cater to your specific role, but you'll find people to help you build resilience. It'll help you build leadership skills because you'll know how to reach out to others that equally love what you love. And together, oh my gosh, how could you not be a dream team with so much love fueling into this one area?
Okay. Wow. All right. So yeah, I was going to ask because we're talking about aerospace, right? And in my head, I'm like, with the set skills I have, can I even fit into the aerospace community, right? But yeah, you're making me understand now that I could actually find something, even though it isn't the exact, I don't know how to put it right, but there's always a space for me in aerospace. So wow, that's interesting to know actually. I think I'm going to try and figure that one out because I would love to work in the aerospace too, actually. So
And
yeah,
it's a thriving industry. And it's not just NASA. I also want to debunk that. You think, oh, in America, it's just NASA, but there's so many commercial efforts going on right now. You might hear in the
wow.
news about SpaceX. They are
Yeah.
helping NASA in a lot of their missions, but they're also doing other missions to put up a communication satellite so people could have access to the internet in really far away places. They could be launching these vehicles. They could be contributing to more access for science. They could be doing research on how can humans live in places far, far away. Like, of course, we can't simulate a Mars environment, but we go to really drastically, oh my gosh, areas like in the desert or in Hawaii, they do those kind of research. That's a whole field called astrobiology. That's related to
Oh,
aerospace too, because they're looking at the biology of people when they encounter harsh environments. So anything to keep humans alive, there's a finger in the aerospace pie. You could
aerospace.
find
Wow.
applications to it. And I mean, with how articulate you are, Sekani, you could be our spokesperson. You could say it from the rooftop, aerospace is awesome. And you don't need to go through NASA to do that. You could go through a commercial company.
Okay.
You could find your space. If you're just willing to find that love, to connect with that person that equally loves it, you'll find your way.
Mm. Wow. I think you just mentioned the part I would like a spokesperson because yeah, I think I fit into that category.
We
Wow.
need more
Okay.
people to advocate in the commercial aerospace industry. We might all
Mhm.
be behind our computers going, oh, we're figuring out how to take us to the moon or to further locations, but we also need your skill set to understand humanity and how to communicate to other people's humanity that this is an important mission. It's not just to go out there, it also trickles back down to Earth and how we share the
Wow.
love out here.
Okay, wow. I'm excited that, I could have a career path in aerospace. Wow. It's exciting to even think about it. Okay. So yeah, I want us to talk about, personal growth and professional development. So, looking back, what did failure actually teach you the most?
That is so hard because one of my personal values is learning. So even talking to you is a learning moment for me because it's helping me practice my ability to communicate my love for aerospace
Okay.
so I could inspire others too. It's really, I mean, regardless you're introvert or extrovert, it's learning how
Mm,
to connect with others. When I was out of my first job here in Houston, I was reading a lot of sales book. It's like, why would an engineer read a sales book? It's learning how to connect with others and persuade them on possibilities. Yes, there
okay.
are so many answers to one problem, but how do you tell the other people involved, this is something you want to highly consider, and then you're selling them the idea. So that's why I was so attracted to also psychology books, other nonfiction books just about humanity. And I felt like growing as a person, being able to communicate better, helped me develop in so many ways.
Okay, wow. All
So it's
right.
not just
Yeah.
technical, it's for
Yeah.
any technical field, you just need to have that ability to connect with others, to convey your ideas. I tell kids every day when they ask me, what does a typical workday look like for you? I don't have a typical day, but there's three things I do, and they're my three C's. I connect, I communicate, and I also, oh my gosh, what's my third C? I don't remember at the moment. Why am I blanking out?
Okay.
But you could tell the first two are not even super
Yeah.
technical. It's
Okay.
just I'm bringing it all together. I'm telling
Yeah.
people this is connected to that. So when you make a solution here, don't forget about little part here. You're going to impact it here. And people might come to me going, what's the resource to answer that question? And I could point them to, well, I know so and so in this department could help guide you to the answer that you need. So that's what I'm doing all day is I'm bringing all the pieces together. We're all problem solvers in any engineering discipline, really. We're solving problems for people. At the heart of it, it's people. How can we help people do whatever better? How can we
Right.
make life easier? How can we make room for other possibilities? That's what engineering is all about. So you could see why it's all about communicating and connecting all day
Mm,
long.
okay. All right. I actually can relate to that, right? So, how do you continue growing? I feel like we said that already by communicating and, connecting, but I still need you to, talk more about it, right? How do you continue growing after 20 plus years in aerospace?
And I must say, becoming a first-time mother also turned my world around and helped me grow in so many ways. I thought my heart couldn't grow anymore. Oh my gosh, that little lady inspires me to do more and be more assertive. My
Um,
gosh, I mean, first and foremost, to grow, you really need to be open to receive because some people be like, I'm set in my ways. I don't need to hear anything else. But no, to grow, you really need to be able to listen and take all the signs around you. Like any sign of failure, it's not really a failure. It's just, oh, this is a sign for me to pause, look around and go, okay, I missed a signal. I should be doing this instead. What have I learned from this? Oopsies. It's just another learning opportunity to just adjust either my mindset, adjust a resource that I need to get to my solution, or it could just be a sign to just take a full 180 and let's try something else here. Because through my 20s, I know a majority of your audience is in their 20s. I was so stubborn. I could also say that's part of the reason why I stayed in aerospace because I was so stubborn. But just being open to possibilities with these professional organizations, they opened my eye to, did you consider getting a certification in that? Did you consider this volunteer opportunity? Yes, you're looking for something to pay the bills, but even volunteering your time in something you love could lead you to a whole pack of different skills you didn't know you need to build on. Like, for example, they let me be the communications chair because they're like, hey, Irene, you want to make the website for our organization? I'm like, yes, I would love to do that because I want to convey to a wider audience, this is what's going on with this organization. Here are some professional development resources. That's how it also ties into. I was so intrigued in sharing my discoveries of professional development resources where it's in the form of a class, a book, or even an other group. Like just even going to a book club gathering, you learn so much. You may not talk about the book, but you learn about a host of other avenues, channels of learning. They might lead you to another book that might inspire you to look at something in a totally different way. That's growth, that's professional development. Just that one little idea could just flip the switch and like, oh, that's in full alignment with what I want to do. Let me go explore it. Whatever could tick off that curiosity is what will help one further develop. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. What piques your curiosity? And also, I learned the hard way, leaning into my intuition on what feels right for me. People could prescribe all day long. You got to do this to get up the career ladder. Well, you could see in our conversation, I zigged, I zagged, I fell, I went up. But it's just about continuing to lean into, okay, I want to know more. What other ways can I explore?
Okay, wow. All right, when you were talking now, I just it made me remember what happened while I was doing a 9 to 5, right? The incident that was like a turning point for me to, decide to do a podcast and, public speaking, right? So where I worked before, it was like an organization and they had different offices in the organization. So when I got there, I was placed in the operations department. I don't know what to do. It wasn't my calling, right? It wasn't, I just didn't feel like I belonged in that department. So I was thinking like what sparks my interest in this whole organization? And then there was a particular time that was the main turning point for me, right? We went for an event and we're supposed to talk about our brand. And someone was like, Joy, do you want to talk to people about our brand? You just take the mic and talk to people. I was like, okay, I'll try. Then I took the mic and I started talking and I saw people clapping. I'm like, this is my passion. I found it. Yeah. So
Yes.
from there, I just knew I wanted public speaking. I want to be a spokesperson. I just want to, talk. And yeah, it's kind of like what you said just made me realize that. And yeah, I'm happy about that actually. So yeah, finally, I would like to ask you, what does success mean to you now?
Again, having that baby girl changed my whole world. But it always goes back to love. Success is when I'm just uplifted with love, and everything that I do is an expression of love. Not
Okay.
I'm grudgingly doing this just because I need to get a paycheck. Like, for example, chatting with you right now is just an expression of love. I love telling others about my career path that and making aerospace so tangible for them. I love that. And that's successful to me because I'm like, I've been through so many dumps where even academic advisor, not just one, but a whole panel of them like, you don't want to do aerospace. You keep failing these classes. Have you considered something? You keep talking about education. Would you consider being an educator? I did pursue an education minor, but I
Yeah.
was like, at the end of the day, I know I could bring so much love and bring success to others, not just myself. I feel more successful because I'm so community oriented. If I could uplift others too, that is a mark of success because it's a team sport in aerospace. And I could say that for any other engineering discipline. It takes a whole team to develop something wonderful. So if I could bring a whole team of people with me to succeed at something, yes, success.
Okay. Wow, that's a pretty interesting take on success, actually. So yeah, I want us to move to, the final segment of our session, right? It's called the rapid fire segment. I pick
Oh,
some things and then you pick what you prefer, right? So starting now, space station or moon mission.
that is so hard. I'm so biased because the majority of my career was in space station. But again, to inspire others, I would say moon missions.
Moon mission. Okay. Wow. So yeah, curiosity or discipline.
Curiosity.
Okay. All right. So failure or feedback.
Ooh, that's juicy. I feel like they go hand in hand because it's like, oh, failure is a form of feedback.
Okay.
Hmm. And I know this is not a rapid round because I'm just like, oh, see, my curiosity is leaning in. It's like, hmm. what, what would have been your answer? I'm curious.
Okay. Hmm, failure or feedback. I would say failure, right? That would have been my answer. Don't know.
Ah,
I guess so.
I could get behind that. I could get behind because again, like I said, failure feels like feedback to me. So it's a kind of feedback. I'll take it. Failure. I'm team
All
failure
right.
with you right now.
Thank you for that. Okay, so yeah, mentorship or self-motivation.
Oh, mentorship for the win.
Okay. All right. So yeah, dream big or start small. And that's the final question, by the way.
Wow.
Hmm.
That one is another toss up because I encourage both. When I mentor others, I always want them to look at the big picture, but also at the same time, imagine, dream big about what are the small steps that will help you eventually get there. That's I'm like, that's a tricky one.
Okay. All right. So yeah, actually you can pick both if you want to, because I feel like they go hand in hand, right? You have to
They
start
absolutely
small. And when you're starting small, you need to dream big, right? So they go hand in hand, actually.
see, you know my heart. That's why you're part of my love village right now.
All right, Irene, your journey reminds us that, success in STEM isn't about a perfect path. It's about persistence, support, and believing that you belong in the room. So yeah, I really do appreciate the, opportunity to get to talk to you. I do appreciate that. And thank you so much for this. Really appreciate it.
It's my
Okay.
joy, and I hope this is not the last conversation we'll have. I hope to connect with you further and your audience to have further conversation and see what other love blossoms from this.
All right. Okay, me too. I hope so also. So yeah, where can listeners, get to learn more about your work and, connect with you?
Whatever social media platform, my handle is Irene S. Chan. So that's Irene S as in Sam, Chan like Jackie Chan. Let's see who gets that reference. I actually was surprised when a young man's like, "Who's Jackie Chan?" I'm like, "What
What?
Twilight?" Yes.
All
And
right.
I may not be active on the platform, but you could expect a loving note when I do return.
Okay. All right. So yeah, thank you so much, Irene. It's been a pleasure. And yes, thanks for tuning into Conversations with Sekani. If this episode sparked something in you, make sure to share to someone who you think might need this. And also subscribe so you don't miss out on your episode. Yeah, thanks, Irene. This has been amazing. And I look forward to doing it again, actually. All right. So yeah, do have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, Irene.
Let's connect. Can I connect with you on LinkedIn, or what's the best way to connect with you?
Okay, it's LinkedIn, or are you on? Okay, I don't know if you use TikTok, right? But yeah, LinkedIn is better. Conversations with Sekani is the name. Okay,
All
so
right, I'll find you there, and please keep up with me. I want to know about your spokesperson journey. Before I know you're going to be the big spokesperson for
ooh,
whatever big company there is, because you
all
have been
right.
such a
Thank you so
gracious
much.
host. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you to Irene. Do have a wonderful day. And yes, I'll definitely connect with you. All right,
Excellent.
bye.
Have a wonderful one.
Okay.